Hi, everyone, and welcome to this webinar on positive behaviour support. My name is Christina. I'm the engagement lead here at Everyday Independence and your host for today's session. So we'll start with the acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which our site is held and pay our respect to elders past, present, and future, thanking Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders for their continued connection to land, waters, and community, and acknowledging the important role they play within our communities. Our why. Now, this is a reminder of our purpose and why we come to work at Everyday Independence. We strive every day to lead and support individuals, their families, communities, and our nation to become a global leader for inclusion. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our game-changing behavior support practitioners who you'll be hearing from today. We have Claudia, who's our main presenter today. Claudia started her career at Everyday Independence as a graduate occupational therapist in 2019. She then transitioned into a behavior support role within just 18 months because of her keen interest in supporting people with behaviors of concern. She's since become an advanced therapy mentor, providing mentorship and guidance to many of our behavior support practitioners. Moving on to Caitlin now. Kate is a behavior support practitioner and therapy mentor who brings with her over 30 years experience in the education sector and in various leadership roles. Her compassion and deep understanding that behaviors happen for a reason is what attracted her to her role at Everyday Independence. Finally, we have Ivani. Ivani began with Everyday Independence as an advanced behavior support practitioner in 2021. She brought with her over 30 years experience in mental health nursing, as well as specialist skills working in various healthcare settings, such as clinical supervision and complex care, to name just a few. Now that you know a little bit about our speakers, I'll hand it over to Claudia, who'll be taking you on a journey of discovery.
Thank you, Christina. Firstly, I just wanted to let you all know what we'll be chatting about today. So firstly, our journey will begin with some insights into how we're different to other providers for behaviour support. Then I'll chat a little bit about our approach, and you'll hear some wonderful participant stories that help tie what we've been talking about together in a practical way. We're aiming to leave a little time at the end for questions, and if you have any questions, please just reach out to our team. Firstly, I want to chat a little bit about how we're different to other providers. At Everyday Independence, our handpicked team comprises of compassionate experts with backgrounds in occupational therapy, mental health nursing, social work, education, and psychosocial science. We were a first mover in bringing the mental health nurses into our teams because of their knowledge and skills around mental health and how this provided us with a deeper understanding of what's needed to support participants with behaviours of concern. We work extensively with our participants and their support team to ensure we're maximising on the participants' funding. At Everyday Independence, we're proud to say that we achieved 73% of item utilisation because of our intervention-based approach. Our interventions include on-the-ground support with the participant and the team around them to ensure we're embedding habit and changing intervention and as it arises where challenges or barriers may occur. Our practitioners then develop a behaviour support plan that provides a clear pathway to improving their quality of life, but we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on. When you work with us at Everyday Independence, you can expect a team approach to supporting our participants. Why? Well, this is because we know that each participant requires a variety of therapies to help them reach their life goals and increase their quality of life. So they'll have access to OT, speech, physio, and our amazing habit coaches all in the one place. This means smooth and seamless sharing of information across our team and continuity of service. It also means goals can be achieved sooner, behaviours of concern may be reduced, and positive lifelong changes are made sooner to support our participants increase their quality of life. And it goes without saying that our PBS services align with the NDIS standards to ensure the highest level of support and care is delivered while using ethical and human rights-centred practices. I'm now going to chat to you a little bit about the everyday way. Everyday Independence has long been recognised and valued of providing therapy using a social model in the disability sector in Australia. The social model views disability as a result of a lack of fit between a person and the environment. It defines issues with participation being associated with society rather than a person. We quite often see within a medical model that the person with disability is seen as the challenge and not the challenges or barriers that are facing them in an everyday society. We know that people develop and grow when they're engaged in activities that are relevant to them, and this is why our therapy is focused on delivering on what is important to the person, and importantly is delivered where a person lives, works, learns and plays, and everywhere in between. It's what we like to call the everyday way. As mentioned before, it is our unique team approach which allows participants to get the most out of 2 or more health professionals, including speech, OT, physio, and habit coaches, to continue building and practicing on our routines and embedding habits into everyday tasks, working together in a social model of disability. I'm now going to hand it over to Kate, one of our amazing PBS practitioners, to speak about her participant M and discuss the positive impact that our behaviour support program has had on supporting Emily to reach her goals and increase her quality of life. Over to you, Kate.
Thank you so much, Claudia. My name's Caitlin Deeks. I am a positive behaviour support practitioner and therapy mentor. I've just recently become a therapy mentor, something that I really love to share my expertise. And obviously this role, you are growing all the time. So I love working with my mentees because they themselves bring a lot of knowledge with them. So I just love being able to collaborate with them. I've got over 30 years experience in the education sector, and I know what you're thinking. I look very young for my age. I have done a lot of mentoring, management roles, lecturing at QUT, and I am also studying a counselling degree, which really supports what I'm trying to achieve every day with my participants. So I'm here today to share Emily's amazing story, but just before I get into the story, I just want to sort of give you a little bit of a background with Emily. So I've been working with Emily for roughly probably 4 to 5 months, and we have been really working hard on some particular behaviours that she's identified that she'd like some support with. And when we were kicking goals, or Emily was kicking goals, we were given the opportunity to do a story of impact. So I was able to record Emily, and we wrote a story together to really demonstrate the amazing achievements of Em. So when Em knew that this webinar was going to be on, she actually volunteered to actually do my role and explain exactly what we do. And I'm sure she would have done a better job than what I am. And it was amazing that she automatically said that she is going to be famous because her video was going to go all across Australia and then potentially across the world. So she was going to be very, very famous. She also talked about being part of a red carpet event. And she said that if that happens, she is more than ready to be part of that event. And she absolutely loves The Big Bang Theory. In particular, she loves Howard. And she was hoping that Howard would actually see this video because she was looking for a bodyguard because she is going to be so famous. There's going to be paparazzi everywhere chasing her. And so Howard would become her bodyguard. So I think it's really important for us to really celebrate these little moments of achievement. They might be only small to us, but for our participants, they are huge, and we need to celebrate each little milestone that they achieve. So one of the most important things for us is our why. So why we do what we do. So we want to change the game for Emily. We want to inspire beyond belief. We want her to believe that she can achieve great things in her life. I guess our role is to champion the person, and not just the person, the participant, but the family as well. And simplify and go. I think it's just like, let's keep it simple. Let's not come up with ridiculous routines and schedules that are not going to work. Let's keep it really, really simple for Em. And one team with purpose. I think the most important thing that we do is the collaboration with other therapists, our occupational therapists, physios, speech pathologists. We're looking at support workers. We're looking at schools. working with our amazing COS teams. It's endless. And I think that if we open that collaboration, we can impact, make a huge impact for our participants. And that's what our role is. So it's really my pleasure to support Em and her family. Emily lives with her mum, her sister, and her brother. Emily's 21 and she absolutely loves meeting new people. She's a social butterfly and she just loves to chat. One of the things that she likes to chat to me about is the fact that she supports the Magpies in the AFL. And unfortunately, she has not picked a very good team. And this is something that I have been giving her some therapy on because I'm trying to get her to support the Brisbane Lions. Emily will often draw magpies or do a painting of a magpie and give that to me. So I think it's lovely that we meet the participant where they're at, what their interests are, what their strengths are, what they love doing. And most importantly, our therapy puts Em right in the middle. And Emily is surrounded by her family, her siblings, all of our therapists that support her, all of the connections that she's made, her day program that she goes to. It's really about collaborating with these amazing organisations that are in place that are supporting Emily to achieve her goals. So when I first met Em, she actually identified that she wanted help in relation to these big emotions that she was actually feeling, as well as dealing with conflict, because she was having some conflict situations in her day program and she wanted to be able to deal with them without getting, I guess, verbally and physically upset with that other peer. So we really focused on that, the verbal aggression, the physical aggression, as well as there was a little bit of property damage when Em would get a little bit upset. So her triggers, we were able to identify very quickly, was when she was told no, when she wanted to do a particular activity or to go out, when peers called her names or they made comments about her family to her. She was very protective of her family, and that would generally result in some kind of verbal aggression. And the most important one that we worked on was Emily's anxiety around mum going out. So there was a lot of anxiety and separation anxiety for Em when mum was trying to go out. So for mum's mental health, she wasn't actually able to go out. So that was impacting the family unit as well as Emily. Emily would get really distressed by it. So the types of therapy that we implemented with Em and what it looked like was looking at teachable moments. So those little conversations that we would have about her day, about things that are happening for her in her day, as well as any sort of observations that we observed in the environments that she was participating in. So we worked really hard on unpacking all of those things for her. So one of the things that we came up with was painting for Em, because she absolutely loves painting. And because we were very consistent and we were doing it every single time or every single day with the family, when Emily was feeling a little bit overwhelmed with her emotions, she would either practice some breathing techniques, she would take herself into her room or find a quiet area in her day program, and then she would grab a paintbrush and an easel and start painting. And this has helped reduce some of these behaviours of concern quite considerably. But let's not just hear from me. Let's hear from our superstar, Emily, and she's going to talk to you about how painting has helped her de-stress and deal with these big emotions. Hey, Em, how do you feel when you're painting?
Happy.
Happy. Does it make you feel happy?
Yeah. Makes me feel calm and relaxed. Pretty much like when I have a long day, just the best to paint and just to let myself go. And just to think what I have to do the next day, you know?
It helps you to relax?
Yeah.
So such words of wisdom from Miss M. I continue to be inspired by her. Every time I watch this video, I just feel so much pride for M and what she's achieved and how her family have supported her to achieve these goals. She's kicking goals. She's living her best life. She now has a boyfriend, and I keep a very close eye on the two of them, make sure that he is the right boyfriend for M, very protective of her. And I guess, you know, with that, when we're thinking about the other types of therapy that we've done with M, you know, just the normal conversations, role playing, we've played lots of games as well, unpacking all of those emotions. And we've also gone through explaining how your body actually feels when you're angry, you're sad, you're happy, excited. And Emily has actually been able to identify those feelings, and that the fact that she can identify those actually gives her, I guess, that key to be able to do all the things to regulate her emotions. So she's able to find a quiet space, she's able to practice her breathing, and then she's able to get straight into her painting, which helps immensely for her to regulate her emotions. So we are improving M's quality of life, and I guess that's what our program is all about, improving our participants' quality of life. We are providing every opportunity for them to succeed. That is paramount for us. We want them to have a successful and happy life. Emily now wants to start her own business. She wants to start selling her paintings. She believes that I've got an endless supply of paint and glitter and canvases, because every time I see her, she's always saying, right, Kate, this is what I need. She gives me, I actually make her write a list of things that she needs, and I'll go off and get them for her. And in her day program, she's actually sold 3 paintings, and she thinks that she is the most incredible human being, which she is, and she's going to be making lots of money selling her paintings. Most importantly, we've really built on her self-confidence and her self-belief, because quite often our participants don't believe in themselves. So we come in and go, we will advocate for you in every way, and we totally believe in you. We know that behaviours happen for a reason. It's the big why. Some people will say the behaviour, there's no trigger. Some people will say that you go, a participant's behaviour goes from 0 to 1,000, but it actually doesn't go to a 0 to 1,000. It actually is bubbling underneath. It's really important for us to be able to pick up those really those cues, those special cues that we can go, okay, this person's feeling a bit uncomfortable. Let's just remind them some of the strategies that they can use to be able to get them out of that zone. It's our role to investigate. We need to investigate why behaviour happens for a reason. We know it. And in Emily's case, and all of our participants' cases, the behaviour is actually their way of communicating to us. They're trying to tell us that something's bothering them. It's up to us to try and figure out exactly what it is and put those strategies in place to support them. Another goal that I'd like to share with you in relation to M was what I was talking about earlier about Emily being left alone. So we've been working on that. We've used visual schedules, we've used timers, we've used checklists and check-ins with mum while she's out, because Emily's biggest fear is something's going to happen and who is going to be there if something happens. So we've got a regular check-in with mum on the phone just to make sure that everything's fine. And I'm really, really proud to be able to let you know that Emily is actually staying at home. She's managed to stay at home on her own for roughly an hour to an hour and a half, which is a huge achievement for Em. And I remember Emily saying to me, hey, Kate, I'm actually getting better at this. Can I have a hug? So Emily is just such an inspiration. I learn from her every single time I'm with her. We have improved her quality of life. Most importantly, she's now become my friend, and I'm become part of the family. And I'm actually now supporting her younger brother. So I feel very privileged to have built this wonderful attachment relationship with the family. And I know for sure Emily is going to continue to kick goals. Thank you, Claudia.
Sorry, everyone, I'm having a bit of audio problems. So I've just put myself, I've turned my camera off. So I'm just going to continue chatting through what's going on. So thank you, Kate, for talking about Em. And I think that you and Em have really showed that by focusing on quality of life, we can see a reduction in behaviours of concern. And, you know, that's not just improving on Em's quality of life, but her family, her supports, and really supporting her to achieve more goals. So as Kate's mentioned, she did talk a little bit about how we've best supported Em through strategies and recommendations, and this would have all been put within our positive behaviour support plans. So for those of you listening today, the positive behaviour support plans are something that we develop here at Everyday Independence to support with person-centred strategies which are informed by observing and truly understanding the person and their unique circumstances, finding the meaning behind the behaviour and why it's happening, and supporting them to achieve the participant to achieve what they want while working with the supports that are important to them, with them. We really look at how and why the behaviour is happening. I often call ourselves detectives for behaviour, and ensuring that we're really looking to support an overall perspective for the participant. We want to find the meaning behind the behaviour and what they want to achieve. As Kate's mentioned before, communication is something that is quite often the reason for the behaviour, and really supporting the person and the people around them to understand the why. The PBS plan then creates a pathway of how the participant support team and care team can really support and collaborate with one another to reduce the behaviours of concern and support the person consistently to reach their potential and reduce the need for restrictive practices if they're being utilised. It promotes developing new skills with the participant and their supports, and steering away from punitive approaches that are often restrictive in nature and risk adverse. It is a key consistent driver for the participant to build their skills and better regulate their emotions. Other providers may only be meeting with the participant on a monthly basis, and we are more invested in interventions and maximising the participant's funding to help them achieve their goals faster. I'm now going to share a story with you that's been pre-recorded by Ivani, our positive behaviour support practitioner, and Shannon from Aruma about their participant Jacinta, and how our positive behaviour program has really supported Jacinta to have a reduction in behaviours of concern, along with restrictive practices that were in place. So I'm just going to hand over to Ivani and Shannon now.
And thanks for joining me today to talk about a special person who we've both supported. But before we move on to hear all about her wonderful story, can you please give us a quick introduction to yourself?
Ivani. Thank you. So my name's Shannon. I've worked with Aruma for over 5 years now. I started my journey as a support worker across multiple lines of business, and now I'm a manager of shared living.
Oh, what an amazing career. And it's just lovely. Thanks again for being here. I know it's a busy environment, so taking time out to do this, we really appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about Jacinta. So what was Jacinta's situation when she started being supported by Aruma?
Yeah, so Jacinta's been living in our still houses now for 4.5 to 5 years, living with a few other female co-tenants. Jacinta did have some restricted practices in place, which were restricted access to social media and her phone, and also restricted access to her bedroom when she did have males over. This was because she did engage in undesirable behaviours on social media, which is driven by her need of connection. So Aruma provides 24/7 care to Jacinta to maintain her independence. And Everyday Independence was sourced out to ensure Jacinta's safety and to give her the opportunity to build her awareness and those positive relationships in her life.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's been a real journey, hasn't it? Working together to support Jacinta, and I think a real privilege, particularly working around developing that sort of value set with Jacinta. And then from that, growing with Jacinta an understanding of what the boundaries are that Jacinta's comfortable with, so that she can live that sort of live in a safe environment and function in a safe
definitely.
environment. Yeah. So would you think that work around some of those strategies. And obviously, you know, they come with a therapy base of evidence-based practice. But would you think that they've had a pretty big impact on Jacinta, and in what way?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's definitely given Jacinta the opportunity to explore her values and getting to the core of what is important to her and why it's important. And since we have had the positive behaviour support plan in place and you providing the training to Jacinta's main care team, she's been much more responsive to the strategies in that plan. She's more aware of her emotions, her feelings, her thoughts, and really in control of her belief system now as well.
That's great, because we've seen a real reduction in those undesirable behaviours, haven't we? And there's an increase in skill building, and she's certainly showing a lot more knowledge around understanding how to regulate her emotions. So we've seen a real decrease in a number of incidents too, as well as the restrictive practices.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I think it's definitely provided consistency for Jacinta and her care team to understand her behaviours, where they come from, when she is triggered, and they are then able to best support Jacinta when these occur and obtain positive outcomes.
Oh, that's great. So overall, I guess it sort of leads me into the next question, which is quite fitting. So how has the room's relationship with Everyday Independence influenced those outcomes for Jacinta?
Yeah, look, it's been so collaborative. It's been incredible to work with Everyday Independence and yourself. I feel like we're all on the same page. The staff know exactly what they need to do when these behaviours present and when they occur. We also give the staff the opportunity to come together to brainstorm certain situations so that we can make any adjustments that we need to make as a team. And then we implement them back in Jacinta's day-to-day life.
Yeah, and certainly I see that sort of collaboration and that I guess that ongoing positive working relationship is very much seen in those reflective practice sessions that we hold on a monthly basis, and along with any sort of formal education and training that we provide. The overall, it's not just about the end outcome, is it, for Jacinta? It's about the journey along the way, and not just for Jacinta, but for all those involved in her care team.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And the success that we are achieving for Jacinta, she's waking up every day with purpose. She's really looking forward to heading out for her days. She's really grown in her self-confidence, and you can see that her overall well-being is just going from strength to strength.
That's fantastic to see. So it's such a great story, and it really does reflect, our unified and core focus of improving that overall quality of life for Jacinta, and maintaining that, most importantly, into her future. And I guess it shows that we're all committed to meeting her unique needs.
Yeah, 100%. We're all here to best support her and give her the life that she chooses to live.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Shannon, for sharing all of that today.
No worries. Thanks, Ivani.
Thanks.
So I hope that video showed you how we at Everyday Independence are really committed to working with everyone in the person's life to really support that quality of life change and reduce behaviours of concern. I'd also like to thank you all for coming along today to hear about how we can support your family members and participants through our PBS program at Everyday Independence. So before we move on to questions, please note our website link on this slide if you wish to submit an online referral on behalf of your participant or family member. So we're going to move on to questions, which I have one on my screen right now. And the question is if there is more than one behaviour to work on, where do you start and when is it the right time to move on to the next? So as you've all heard today, we're really committed to working with the participant, their family members and all their support. So this question's a little bit tricky for me to answer only because it's really going to be dependent on the person's situation. but we really like to look at where the behaviour is starting from. And if you say someone's got physical aggression, but we know that the behaviour is going to escalate once it gets to verbal, we'd probably look at targeting that area while also working on physical as well to really support not only the participant, but the family members to remain safe in their home and safe in the community or wherever the behaviours of concern are happening. So if you do have a participant that's coming to EI and they've got multiple behaviours, I'd really encourage open conversation with the PBS practitioner around the behaviour that you're finding is having the most impact on the participant, and also just working as a team. That's really what we like to work on here at Everyday Independence. So again, that's all from me, and I really appreciate you all coming along today. And please reach out to team if you need anything else. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you again, Kate and Ivani, who's not online, but thank you again for sharing those wonderful stories and talking about how we deliver behaviour support here at Everyday Independence. If you do have any questions at all, please hop onto our website. It's everydayind.com.au, and there's a contact us form that you can fill out if you'd like to ask a specific question. Otherwise, have a fantastic evening. Thank you.